folks, welcome back to Indaba Africa. This is Chris once again. Lecker Freitagabend. Lecker Freitagabend. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Chris White Africa here on Indaba Africa, part of the Indaba Broadcasting Network. Whoa, that was a quick jump. A little glitch there. Wow, little gremlins in the camera. Welcome to all of you on this lovely Friday. Pleasure to have you back with us here on the channel. Third stream of the day, folks. Third stream of the day. We did our normal stream this morning. We had a special featured guest, Dr. Colin Robinson, the Kiwi in Kenya. That's what we'll call him, the Kiwi in Kenya. We talked about Somalia this morning and then followed that up with a press conference from NASA over the Perseverance mission and what's happening there. That was pretty cool. In the meantime, I did get confirmation of something and now a locked-in date. So Tuesday, the 23rd, is that the 23rd of February? I think this is 23rd. Let's take a look. 23rd of February. Two special feature live streams. The first will be with Gary Gold, USA Eagles rugby coach, South African rugby legend, is going to be with me Tuesday, the 23rd of February. That will be at 4 p.m. in South Africa, Botswana, and Namibia. And he will be here at 11 o'clock or 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's on Tuesday. My normal stream will be another special feature guest that day. It'll be a member of Parliament for the Democratic Alliance, Adrian Roos from Gauteng, who will be with me on that day. So, folks, yeah, tune in. Interesting stuff on Tuesday. Wednesday, we're following that up with Ich die Dritten, Switzerland's premier and award-winning folks music group. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, on Wednesday, the 24th of February. Wow, at a special time. That'll be at 14:30 Eastern Standard Time. So 21:30 in South Africa, 8:30 in Zurich. You can join us right here for Ich die Dritten, the third generation with Melanie, Mike, and Kevin. Wow. Interesting lineup coming up. And on Thursday, we have Josh Museveni from the Heritage Foundation. So he'll be here talking about China and Africa. Lots of interesting topics, folks. Lots of interesting topics. So we have a press conference coming up, which includes Mugega Cooper. By the way, I tried to contact her to be a guest on my program back in November. I haven't heard from her, so I don't know if I had good contact information. But I tried to reach out to her, to Janie Radabaugh, and to a few other astrophysicists and astronomers to get them on the channel to talk about space. And I was unable to get her, but she is supposed to be taking part in this NASA presentation in about 17 minutes. So let's get to the quick greetings, then the news highlights I want to talk about before we get there. Michelle likes the intro. Well, thank you, Michelle. That's courtesy of my supporters, my viewers, my fans, whatever you want to call yourselves, members, whoever you are, or subscribers who contributed to a fund to hire Joe Emilio to make that animation. Pretty cool, huh? I did have a little role in there at the end, but only in supplying some photographs and making some recommendations. Pretty cool. I like it. It's awesome. About the right length, too, 25 seconds. All right, Larsalis, Erika, Olaf, US Bormeisi, Levin Janssen van Rensburg, Hert Janssen van Rensburg, where's Bram Janssen van Rensburg, and of course, I fill out the house. Chris Janssen van Rensburg is here. Amy's here, Amy Justine Leroux. Okay, good to see you again, Amy. Like your avatar photo. That's a cool photo there. And I always love Bormeisi. Hers is really cool with the South African U.S. flag mix. Joe Niemann's back. Welcome, Joe. Good to see you again. Andre van Eden, Daniel Prinsloo. Good to see you again. Michelle said hello. Lynn is here. Hello, is everyone? Got me Bluetooth speakers in. Cool. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I had headphones on earlier. I had my my Bose noise cancellation headphones on for the interview with Colin. It was kind of a test. I'm going to use them. They've been sitting up there unused. I use them for flying normally, but since I can't fly anywhere under the the serfdom that's been imposed upon us by Unity Joe and all these other feckless slimeball leftist heads of state around the world, I can't fly anywhere, so I can't use them. So I thought I'd not let them go to waste and take advantage of them, and it worked out pretty well. So not only did they look dead sexy wearing them, but they were functional. So I will wear them for my interview with Ich die Dritten and the upcoming interviews. Should be cool. Right. Erica Holtzkamp, almost missed you. The Renner du Toit. Good to see you again. Michelle Lottigan already said hello to. And then, all right, cool. Arbot is here. Hey, Arbot. Good to see you again, my friend. Pleasure. Always excited. There you got your castle there. Pretty awesome. Remember, folks, if you're members of Chris White Africa, YouTube habitually does not renew subscriptions for 1/3 of my members. I'm not alone. That happens to other people. I don't know why they do that. So if you're a member and you appreciate your avatar, little castle, or Statue of Liberty next to your account, you should make note of when your payment date is for the channel. and then check it that day or the next day to make sure you still have your avatar, because sometimes they don't renew you. So you have to go back in and do it. If you do it within 72 hours, you keep your avatar. But if it's after that, you start all over. Nothing I can do about it. Hey, Dietrich Buscha, Lezan, Etienne Broderick. Good to see you guys. Jan Hendrik Steeman. Good to see you again. All right, let me get to the news, folks. I want to cover that very quickly because there's important news to talk about. First off, today, Unity Joe announced that the United States has returned to the fraudulent Paris Climate Accord. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. U.S. is back in the Paris Pact. He vows that no more sidelining of climate. Well, yeah, let's read a little bit from that, and then I'm going to show you a little something to show you just how dishonest these shameful leftists are. Leon Kleinhens is back. The United States officially returned to the Paris Global Climate Accord on Friday. President Biden declared the nation could not afford to sideline the growing climate crisis again. We can no longer delay or do the bare minimum to address climate change. It's a global existential crisis, and all of us will suffer if we fail, he told leaders at a Munich security conference by video. We're back, Biden said. Yeah, see, here's the thing. This is all horse manure. So which country in the world did not sign the Kyoto protocols, did not sign up for the scam Paris climate bullshit? Which country didn't do that? Only major industrialized country in the world that didn't do either one of those things. United States of America. And what's the only country in the world that has reduced its carbon emissions over 1990 levels? That'd be the United States. In part because we got people in Texas dying because of a piss poor grid distribution and poor choice of alternative energy. But let's take a little look at the facts here, folks. There you go. This is from the Energy Information Agency, which is a U.S. government-funded operation which tracks energy, oil production, gas production, nuclear energy, carbon emissions, all this stuff around the world. So you'll notice that since 1990, which is the baseline year, U.S. GDP has grown to be 160% of what it was. Right? Okay. It's actually more than that. I don't know where they get these numbers from. I guess it's inflation-adjusted dollars. Our population has grown from 100% to 130%. So we've gained 30% population, more than 30% more people here, a lot of them immigrants. Energy-related carbon dioxide emissions grew initially, but have declined consistently since 2006, almost back to 1990 levels. 1990 levels. Put that in your pipe 30 years ago, Joe Biden. Carbon dioxide from energy is actually below our emissions in 1990 by a considerable margin. It's 82% of what it was. And that related to energy specifically, in our GDP, is down to nearly half our emissions when you do that pro ratio. So what the hell are they talking about? Do the bare minimum. We didn't sign up for the scam of Kyoto. We didn't sign up for the scam of Paris. Yet we continue to reduce emissions and our population grows and our GDP doubles. What the hell are you talking about? You see the scam? See, this is the problem. Ooh, climate change. First it was global warming. Well, that didn't work. When the polar ice caps grew, when people had unseasonably cold weather. Well, it can't be global warming because we can't hoodwink these suckers. So we'll call it climate change. Climate change is every damn day. Yesterday we had snow. Today we got sun. Give me a freaking break. You look at the cycles of this planet for the last 3.5 billion years, you got a few climate cycles. You look at the amount of carbon dioxide in the air during the Jurassic Age, the Triassic Age. The amount of oxygen in the air was astronomically higher than it is right now. Now, by simply noting those facts, you'll be called a climate denier. Nope, not a climate denier. But I believe it's science, actual science, not bullshit peddled by the left. We stop doing the bare minimum. Who's doing the bare minimum, dingus? We, the Germans, increased emissions every single year. Japanese, every single year. UK, every single year. France, South Africa, exponentially every year. Who has reduced emissions? We have. So why must we be punished and lose jobs under your stupidity? When we've actually improved our economy, modernized, renovated, put technologies in that made us less dependent on carbon emissions. Yet you lie to people daily lies. It'll be interesting to see after this video whether it's blocked or if below the video there is a disclaimer from YouTube saying, climate change is a proven scientific start, and anyone who denies is a climate denier. My God. Back in the Paris. For what? So we can punish our workers and our economy, crush our economy, so that China can prosper? Wow. The Manchurian cadaver woke up long enough to make this asinine statement. Unbelievable. By the way, folks, in case you didn't catch this news, because we only have 11 more minutes to talk about news before the press conference starts, check this one out. You ready for this? You'll find this quite interesting, ladies and gentlemen. 6 Capitol Police officers. Whoops, that's not it. Hang on a second. Sorry. Have been suspended. 29 others are on investigation for their alleged roles in the events on the 6th of January. Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. 6 cops suspended. Whoops, with pay. Suspended with pay. Wow. That is something else. Brett, you missed me talking about climate change scam. Utter nonsense. The U.S. is the only country in the world. I'll put that chart back up for anybody that's tuning in late. This is a chart of emissions since 1990. The United States, if you look at our energy-related carbon emissions, it is only 60% of what it was 30 years ago, with 35 million fewer people than we have today. 35 million fewer people. Our carbon emissions are now, with 35 million additional people, and with, think about this, folks, 1990. Nobody was charging these devices. Nobody had these except Donald Trump and Bill Gates. Nobody had mobile phones in 1990 except the uber wealthy. And they were like this size, like the size of a World War II walkie-talkie. No one had all these computers. Who had a computer in 1990? I did. Most of y'all didn't. Who had a mobile phone in 1990? I didn't. Did you? Yeah. So think of all that. Think of all these electric cars. Think about the hundreds of millions of more cars on the road. In the United States, tens of millions of more cars on the road than there were back then. Plus 35 million additional people that didn't exist in this country in 1990. Yet our carbon emissions are down to 60% of what they were. And these bastards want to peddle this bullshit and lie. This is about taking money out of your pocket and out of my pocket to give to their friends and allies in the fraudulent solar panel industry, in the gas industry, in the wind turbine industry, in the wave technology industry. Let's ask Andrew Cuomo if he has a few minutes to separate from his cover-up, his criminal conspiracy to cover up the deaths in nursing homes. If he has a few moments, tell us about that solar photovoltaic plant that you spent $750 million taxpayer dollars for in New York in upstate by Buffalo. How's it doing? How's that cold fusion mumbo jumbo going for you there, Andrew? You sorry, sad, pathetic little friggin' clown. What do I think about Ted Cruz going to Cancun? I think he's smart. All right, let's put this in perspective. What the hell does Ted Cruz have to do with anything? He's a senator representing the state of Texas. His job is in D.C., not in Austin. There's an issue in Texas. That's for Texans to decide. He represents Texas at the national level. He's not a state official in Texas. He has no influence or control over the events there, other than making a phone call. So this is a bunch of bullshit about nothing. He's smart. He got out of freezing Texas and went somewhere warm. Why are we not talking about Andrew Cuomo, Dr. Death, the Grim Reaper of Albany? Criminal conspiracy to cover up the deaths of people that he caused by putting COVID positive patients into nursing homes. Between 6,000 and 309,000 COVID people into homes with people at 80, 85, 90, 95, 105 years old. In poor health. Got them all killed. Probably 15,000 or more. Why isn't he in jail? That's the news story, not Ted Cruz in Cancun. It's pathetic. That's like Donald Trump. We're going to introduce this bill so that twice impeached presidents can't be buried in Arlington National Cemetery. Well, let me talk about that. Let me read that really quickly. I read this comment that someone posted. That's not it. Where's it at? It's this comment. Here it is. This is the news story about a bill that it says the following. It says they have introduced a bill to prevent twice impeached presidents from being buried at Arlington National Cemetery with federal funds from being used to name any buildings after them. It's called the No Glory for Hate Act. Oh my God, these people are sick. And this is what a clever person actually wrote. Let me find it real quick. A clever person wrote this a few hours back. He said, I can see it now. The meeting of the Democrat caucus is called to order. Okay, on the first order of business, in light of our unquenchable hatred of that man, the question before the caucus is this. What is the most meaningless, small, petty act we can take in order to demonstrate our childish petulance? That is the best social media comment I have seen online in ages. Well done by whoever that person was that posted that. Amazing. Oh, there you go, Beth. I didn't know that. So Cruz flew his daughter down to Cancun. He went back to Texas the same day. So this is all an attempt to slander and destroy. Why does Nancy Pelosi have $30 million working in a job where she makes $167,000 a year? Huh? How does Maxine Waters have 4 houses and not live in her own district in California? Huh? Why does Hank Johnson think that Guam will tip over if you put too many Marines on the island? Admiral, I'm concerned that if you relocate these Marines from Okinawa with their families, that the island may become so unbalanced that it would tip over. Why are these morons in government? Because stupid people vote for them. Stupid people. We're going to have to start giving IQ tests to let people vote. That's how dumb some of these people are. What is the federal? It's the Federal Register is what it's called, Etienne. It's called the Federal Register. Hey, Beaver. Okay. Someone has something funny to say. I don't want to repeat it. Okay, so let me get back to more news here. I want to cover very quick because we're about 5 minutes left here, folks. All right. The steel plant in South Africa, 3 bodies were recovered. So these are mostly from Reuters, but through Yahoo this morning. I had trouble with my mail account, and I had to go to Yahoo, so I just drew these stories up from there. Just going to comment on this very quickly. I'm going to get back here so I can cover up my camera. There it is. 3 bodies found after stack collapses at ArcelorMittal South Africa Steelworks. This is at Vanderbilt Park Works. A coke battery stack at the steel plant the previous morning. What happened on Wednesday? Africa's biggest steel producer, majority owned by Luxembourg-based ArcelorMittal, which is really an Indian company. It was Arcelor, which is French, merged with Mittal, which really bought it out, which is Indian, and it's based in Luxembourg, but it's an Indian company. The company has launched an investigation to cause the accident. All relevant authorities have been notified and have been on site. NUMSA, National Union of Mine Workers of South Africa, sent a statement that it would ask the Labor Department to investigate the incident and whether ArcelorMittal acted fast enough to find the workers. Yep. South Africa's president fights his own party over corruption. There's no fight going on. Don't delude yourself. This is from the Associated Press. Published in U.S. News and World Report, and it's written by Mahomotsi Mahome, whomever that is, from Associated Press. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa's anti-corruption drive is facing stiff resistance from political foes within his party, including his predecessor, who is openly defying a ruling from the country's highest court to testify at an inquiry into state graft. There is very little pushback because Cyril Ramaphosa is not actually fighting corruption. He's just saying he's fighting corruption. Nothing has been done at all. By the way, I'm going to have to make a video about this, but this coming from China's foreign ministry, this is comical. A Chinese foreign minister denigrating America and spewing nonsense, talking about how they're so glad they've taken efforts to alternative energy. What she lies about is that China builds over 350 coal-fired power plants each and every year. 350. We have eliminated coal-fired power plants in this country. She is lying about what's happening in China. It's hilarious. So Texas weather crisis deepens Chinese belief that they're on the right path. This being shilled by Reuters, disgraceful. They pretend that they're a news organization. Disgraceful. Yep. China's foreign ministry said on Friday it was seeing the plight of Americans suffering in a severe winter storm that hit the state of Texas this week, reinforced belief among Chinese citizens that their country was on the right path. Foreign Ministry spokesman Hua Chuanying made the comments in response to a question from state media journalists on calls by Western countries for an investigation into alleged human rights abuses. During her lengthy response, made at a regular news conference, she repeated that China's denials of abuse of Muslim in the region and said that Australia... Hang on a second. Stupid website. Oh, that's the NASA mission. Sorry. Okay. We'll get back to the news a little bit later. We got about 2 minutes left here, but NASA's about to come up. Yep. And what you heard was the news in the background. Yep. Okay, so that'll take place in just a second. That was just a warning, a 2-minute warning. Yeah, so the Chinese are chuckling and making fun of us when they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So I'll make a video on that later on. Of course, that'll probably get blocked by YouTube because they also shill for Beijing's Chinese Communist Party. Folks, they pulled DNA from mammoth teeth. that are over 1 million years old. This is insane. They've never taken DNA from anything older than a few thousand years old to my recollection, but now they claim they have DNA from a mammoth that's 1 million years old from the mammoth tooth. That is insane. Absolutely insane. This is phenomenal stuff for genetics and for science. Scientists sequenced DNA from 3 ancient mammoth teeth found in Siberia. Some of the DNA was more than 1 million years old. Wow, making the oldest DNA ever recovered. Genetics reveals these mammoths to be ancestors of both woolly mammoths and the mammoths that later occupied North America. Wow. Researchers recently extracted and mapped the DNA preserved in 2 mammoth molars from the region with startling results. On Wednesday, they revealed that DNA is more than 1 million years old. Okay, well, I guess they had horse DNA. I didn't know this. That was 560 to 780,000 years old. Wow. This is insane. Wow. Previously unknown mammoth that lived in Siberia about 1.2 million years ago. The second species interbred with woolly mammoths about 420,000 years, which gave rise to Columbian mammoths that went on to occupy North America. Ancient molars themselves aren't new discoveries. Yep, they found them in the 1970s. Wow, that's insane, folks. It is now 3 p.m., and let's take a look and see if we've got NASA up. They're supposed to be up. Not up yet, but as soon as they come up, we'll do it. So what we got on now, from this point on, I'll bring the press conference up. We'll see how it goes and whether it's interesting or not. And then if it's really interesting, we'll keep it going. If not, I'll just go back to commenting and talking about the news and events. But we're talking about the $2.7 billion Mars Perseverance rover, the Sol 1 mission, which is currently on the ground on the surface of Mars, having landed successfully yesterday at 3:55 Eastern Standard Time. And yeah.
We are starting the straighten up and fly right maneuver in preparation for parachute deploy. The navigation has confirmed that the parachute has deployed and we are seeing significant deceleration. Skycrew maneuver has started. About 20 meters off the surface.
We're getting signals from MRO.
Touchdown confirmed. Perseverance safely on the surface of Mars, ready to begin seeking the sands of past life.
Looks like we're getting the first image.
This is the most amazing thing. This is what NASA does. This is what we can do as a country.
Hello and welcome to another episode of NASA Science Live. I'm your host, Dr. Mujige Cooper, and we are so excited you could join us today. A new chapter of Mars exploration has officially begun. Yesterday, NASA's Perseverance rover successfully landed on Mars. Over the past 7 months, Perseverance has been en route to the Red Planet, and now it is preparing to explore Jezero Crater, a 28-mile crater once home to a river delta, in search of microbial life that could help us determine if there was ever life on Mars. And if you think that's cool, just wait, there's more. In fact, we've already received some incredible images from Perseverance. In this photo that you see here, that's the view looking down from the sky crane, lowering the rover onto the surface of Mars. In this next photo, you can see Perseverance's front right wheel on the Mars surface. The scientists are filled with such excitement as they discuss the rocks right nearby the wheels. In the next picture, you can see there's an image captured from orbit around Mars from the Perseverance's parachute as it is deployed and as it descends onto the Red Planet. That is pretty cool. This is personally very exciting for me because when I was in 5th grade, what inspired me to work for NASA is the search for answering whether or not we're alone in the universe. And it's been truly an honor to be part of a team that's venturing to answer these questions.
I tried to get her as a guest.
I'm joined today by Gregorio Villar, Entry, Descent, and Landing Operations Lead at NASA JPL, and Dr. Kelsey Moore, Perseverance Science Team Member, NASA JPL ABC Lab. Congrats, you two, on an exciting and successful landing yesterday. Yeah, I'm sure you're excited. So this question is for both of you, but let's start with Kelsey. How does it feel to land a rover on a planet millions of miles away?
This is incredible. I have watched past rovers and experiences kind of from the sidelines. This is my first time being a part of the mission and the team, and it's a new level of excitement, and I cannot believe that we're at this moment now.
Awesome. Gregorio, how do you feel? You're a veteran. You've done this before. What's going through your mind?
Moo, I've done this once, but we had never had images like the one you just saw.
That's
How
pretty impressive.
cool is that? I've been so used to just watching animations, and just seeing that picture is just so surreal, and it just really shows all the hard work that we all put into this mission can be a success if we just work together.
If we just persevere.
Mogega, that's not funny.
So, Gregorio, can you tell us, what is the rover doing right now?
Yes, I can do that. So when you go through a long road trip, right, you're kind of cramped up in a car, and our rover has been cramped up in its spacecraft for months. And so the first thing we want to do is really kind of like stretch our limbs, make sure our joints are okay. And that's what the team is doing.
The aliens are coming across the border in Texas.
We're turning on our instruments, making sure they're all good to go. And then eventually, in a few days, we're going to do something that's called a flight software transition. So there's an operating system that we use on board, and we use that throughout the cruise phase of the mission. But now that we're on the surface, we're going to need a new set of capabilities so that we can operate on the surface of Mars and let the scientists do the things that they need to do in the future.
Yeah, I just listened to the press conference. They said it would take about 4 days to do the software transfer, so nice and steady, right?
Exactly. With something like this on Mars, you don't want to rush through it, so you do little by little, just not all at once.
Awesome. That's amazing. So Kelsey, from your perspective as a scientist, please tell us what's next.
Yeah, definitely. So once the rover is kind of fully awake, as Gregorio described, we get to dive into the science. So I am a field geoscientist. So on Earth, when I want to learn about the ancient Earth past,
dig up rocks.
I go into the field and I analyze big rock outcrops, and then I collect samples and bring them back into the lab so that I can analyze them in more detail.
I did that as a kid.
So
no one called me a
Perseverance
geologist.
is kind of our little robotic field geologist on the surface of Mars. So Perseverance will be roving around and analyzing the rocks, assessing the outcrops, getting context
Cool
for us.
animation here.
And very excitingly, the rover will be picking up samples, collecting samples that will eventually be returned, hopefully on the Mars sample return mission, so that we can then analyze those Martian samples.
Let's
back
talk
on
about
Earth.
the ground penetrating radar.
That is incredible. We know many of you at home have so many questions about NASA Perseverance landing on Mars and the exciting things that it will do on the Red Planet. So join the conversation and ask your questions by writing in the comment box wherever you're watching this, or by using the hashtag #CountdownToMars on social media.
What about the X-ray
First, let's start
spectrometer?
things off with a question millions of people
Ultraviolet
around the world
laser.
are asking. Is Mars habitable?
Yes, it was. Underground. Oh, let me take myself off
Is
there.
Mars habitable? Well, maybe. The question is it habitable and for whom? Mars is hundreds of degrees colder than Earth. It has 100 times less atmosphere, and that atmosphere has hardly any oxygen. But there may be other forms of life that could have evolved that aren't very much like us, but are very much like the early forms of life that evolved on Earth. Mars has evidence of being warmer in the past and of having stable liquid surface water for potentially hundreds of thousands of years. So it's possible that in Mars's past, there was a time where life could have evolved in that particular environment. We
Age
have
discrimination,
been
bro.
trying to
Age
answer that
discrimination.
question
They pushed all the
definitively. Is
white
Mars
guys out.
habitable? And as of yet, the answer is still definitely maybe.
COVID from Mars.
It's so exciting that Perseverance is now on the surface of Mars to help us answer these questions and to search for signs of ancient life itself. The internet is buzzing with excitement over yesterday's Mars landing, so let's take questions from the public. For everyone that's watching, it's
You're correct,
not too
Laura
late
Marcy.
to join the
This is
conversation.
for schools. These
Submit
are
your
intended for
questions
school kids.
using hashtag #CountdownToMars or comment in the stream wherever you're watching this. Our first question is from Alex on Twitter. Does Percy have any way to move rocks or sand to see what is underneath? This is a great question for Kelsey.
Yeah, so once the rover starts driving around, we can do sort of two types of science. We can analyze the rocks from
She
far
should have
away
been in the briefing
using
earlier.
SuperCam,
Those hands.
and collect some data that is a couple of meters away from the rover. And then we can also analyze the rocks up close with some of the other instruments like Pixel and Sherlock. And what we'll do is get right up next to the rocks, place those instruments so that they're close to the surface, and then be able to analyze the rocks below. And then we can do some abrading to get rid of the superficial area, and then we get a good signal on the rocks below that are underneath what we call the weathered
Superficial is not a word.
Yeah, and
Okay,
another
what about
cool
that
part.
laser?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I asked about the laser, the ultraviolet laser.
No, I'm asking Kelsey, what about the laser?
Yeah, so we'll be able to use different kinds of lasers and x-rays to analyze all of the chemistry, the mineralogy, the organic compounds that are inside of the rocks.
About 8
we're
years
really
to
excited
become a
see
rocket
what kind of
scientist,
data we
bro.
get.
Yeah, and another
Education
cool
alone.
feature, you also have the gas dust removal tool, the GDRT, which is able to puff a gas of nitrogen on the surface and blow things away. So that's pretty cool. A lot of great suite of instruments there. We have another question from Panda Wannabe on Twitter.
Panda Wannabe.
Panda Wannabe asks, what precautions did you take to make sure no Earth microbes hitched a ride with you on Mars, to Mars?
We used hand
And will
sanitizer.
you be stopping by to say hi to Curiosity? This is a great Kelsey question. I would love to answer it too. Like,
I know,
You
you are one of the experts too. Yeah, that is a great question. So one of the big fears at the beginning when you're thinking about bringing samples back is we don't want to get a false positive. So we don't want to analyze rocks that are brought back from Mars and think that we found evidence of life, and really it's evidence of life on Earth that was brought along for the ride. So the sample tubes, which the samples will be collected in on Mars, have gone through extensive cleaning processes to make sure that they are absolutely pristinely clean. No traces of any kind of Earth microbial matter.
So does the
on
dude
them.
talk, or is it just this
And so
15-year-old
we've
valley
done
girl that talks?
Our due diligence, all of the engineers and scientists working on this to make sure that those sample holders are as clean as they possibly can be.
awesome. Yeah, and I actually have a little 3D printed tube here. So we actually baked out these tube assemblies at 150 degrees Celsius for over 26 hours. So they are ridiculously clean. A lot of effort went into that. A huge team made sure that that was not an issue, the whole false positive. So yeah, we are excited for the
False
science
positive?
coming
What are you talking about,
from these
COVID?
pristine tubes. The next question we have is from Mike on Twitter. To what depth do you drill, and how long is the core sample that you collect?
10 meters,
to analyze?
33 feet.
Also a great Kelsey question.
Gregorio, feel free to put input as well.
Go for it.
Our samples that we'll be getting back are going to be about the size.
Apparently
of a
that's
piece
never
of
going to
chalk.
happen,
So
Arsalis.
here's a video for us. So very small little pieces of drill core, and we're working on ways to make sure that we kind of get the context around those drill cores right before we collect them, so that we know what the rocks look like before they're taken and then placed into the tubes and brought back.
They ask how deep.
That's
How
awesome.
deep,
And
not
in
the
order
size
to
of the
get to this
sample.
location, just to bring Gregorio in, I mean,
About
to
damn
land
time.
the Jezero crater, we needed TRN, we needed the EDL gurus here. Can you talk about that quickly?
Absolutely. So TRN is the Terrain Relative Navigation System that is new, that we did not have on Curiosity, and it really enabled scientists to go to Jezero Crater. There is a hazard map that we have where shows where we landed. You probably saw it in yesterday's press conference, but you can see there are a lot of hazards in Jezero Crater, and they were marked as red. And we were able to sneak right in there into that green little dot that was a safe parking lot area, which is really, really cool.
Incredibly impressive.
And the way we were able to do that was that during the descent phase, we have a camera on board, and it's taking images and correlating that with a map that's on board and being able to better understand where we are relative to the ground. And then when we know that knowledge, we know all of the safe spots that we would want
Rovers
or that
were
we can go
sterilized,
to.
Erica. They do it with
So
all
when
this
we're
stuff.
on this jetpack, we tell the jetpack to fly to the optimal safe point on the map. And then, here's the picture where we are able to do that, luckily in a nice, safe area on Jezero Crater.
That's amazing. So speaking of these amazing samples, the next question, a lot of people are asking, how will the samples get back to Earth? Who wants to take that question?
DHL, FedEx.
I could give it a shot. So Perseverance is actually the first leg of what's called the Mars Sample Return Campaign. It's going to be a joint effort amongst 3 missions. So Perseverance is the first of that. Perseverance is going to start collecting samples along the way over its mission. And now we're also working on a new mission called the Sample Retrieval Lander. So we're going to send a smaller rover to Mars accompanied with a little rocket. As you can see there, we're going to put the rocket on, we're going to put samples onto the rocket to launch it into Mars's orbit. And then we'll send another orbiter to pick up those set of samples and then fly it back to Earth and bring it back to Earth for the scientists here to be able to analyze them.
Yeah, that is an incredible feat of engineering and an international collaboration too. I mean, it's not only NASA mission, but it's going to involve ESA as well. So it's
European Space Agency. Please
Kelsey,
stop
do you want to
using
have some
acronyms.
inputs about getting the samples back to Earth? I mean, as the scientist.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited about that component of the mission. So the rover, as I said, has some really great instruments that can analyze the rocks on the surface of Mars as it drives along. But there's a limit to our capabilities, that the kinds of data that we can collect on the surface. We have a lot of really incredible instruments in our labs that are just enormous instruments. And we don't have the technology to send those to Mars. So getting the samples back will allow us to really dig into the science a little bit more and be better able to characterize the samples. And
follow the science.
What I'm most excited about, hopefully search for signs of past life.
Awesome.
Screw past life. How about current life?
Our next question is from Marina on Facebook, and this is really for Gregorio. Where is the jetpack and parachute now?
Lying on the surface.
Ooh, yes. So the jetpack, or what we call the descent stage, after it does its job and lowers the rover on the ground, it flies away from the rover and just crash lands away from us, somewhere over 400 meters away. The parachute also does the same thing. So the parachute is controlling the aeroshell.
You can land it properly in case you need those parts in the future.
You know, we're going to try to do what we did on Curiosity, where we had images from some of our assets, and hopefully we'll get some pictures sometime in the future to see where these things are located on Mars.
Come watch Mugega and Ken and Barbie with us.
The next question is from Yvonne on Twitter, and it's for Kelsey. Does Perseverance have a way to measure the density of mass of rocks? Those porous-looking rocks make me want to know if they are light like pumice.
Well, so we thought pumice.
That's a great question. Yeah, and something that the science team has been talking a lot about, trying to figure out exactly what those rocks are and what they mean. So we can do a few things to try to characterize the mineralogy of the rocks, figure out if it's a basalt that maybe has basaltic type minerals, or if it's a sedimentary rock that has different kinds of clays.
That's right,
we will be integrating a lot of the different data sets that the rover is collecting and try to answer that question of how dense is it, what kind of minerals are there, what kinds of elements are there, so we can get a good approximation.
We've been putting garbage in Mars since 1976, Olaf.
Yeah, and there's also one of the many assessment stations in the adaptive caching assembly part of the rover is a volume assessment station, so that we can actually measure not the density of the rock or the mass, but at least get a rough idea of how much sample we collected.
This is like totally exciting. It's so gnarly. So rad.
The next question is from Tim Post on YouTube. He asks, Tim asks, what procedures will you take if we find signs of life on Mars? Kelsey, this is for you.
Colgate Ed.
Great, definitely.
Of course it's for her.
So there are
He's not allowed to talk.
Two ways that you could go with this. I'm going to take the signs of past life on Mars approach. I'm not sure exactly if that's what they mean, but what I'm most excited about is seeing if life ever did exist on Mars in its ancient past.
He's not smiling anymore. He's getting a little pissed off he doesn't get to talk.
There was past life on Mars a few billion years ago in a similar age to the most ancient life that we have evidence of on Earth. I think it's going to be really exciting to analyze that and reframe how we think about what types of environments are habitable, how life emerged in the past.
It's not Arizona. There's no one crossing the border from Mexico.
We'll open up a lot of science questions that we can then ask, and I'm really excited for the next couple of decades.
If that were Arizona, there'd be illegal aliens running through the picture frame.
Yeah, and Gregorio, just as a human, I mean, how would you react if you heard that they found signs of ancient life on Mars?
I would be really relieved. You know, one of my favorite movies growing up is Contact, and it kind of instilled upon this idea of like wanting to be life out there. And in the movie, the main character was asked, you know, do you believe in life outside of Earth? And her response was, well, if there wasn't, that would be an awful waste of space.
Yes, it would.
And so I'm always hopeful to find signs of life anywhere outside of Earth.
Yes. Big brownie points, also my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Hardly my favorite movie. It's a good movie.
Awesome.
Jodie Foster, one of the rare times she was
Our
tolerable.
next question is from Ryan
Matthew
on Facebook.
McConaughey.
Will it be possible for us to verify the prior existence of life on Mars without the return of samples if that we take with the mission? So Kelsey, could we verify the existence of life on Mars without returning the samples?
Yes.
That is a question that I ask myself every day. It is an excellent
Well,
question.
the answer is yes.
Yeah, so there are kind of a range of different types of what we call biosignatures. So those are evidence of past life. That can be actual fossils, little individual fossils of bacterial cells and things like that we do find on ancient Earth rocks. It can be stromatolites, so microbial structures, like when you see a kind of scuzzy mat on the surface of a rock in a pond. Those microbial mats can get preserved. Organic compounds, carbon-based compounds. So all of those biosignatures have different chemical compositions, different elemental compositions, different textures associated with them. Some of them are really easy to identify, and some of them are not quite as easy to identify. So it'll take a lot of work for us to really analyze them using the instruments on board and see if we can convince ourselves, depending on how obvious those potential biosignatures are. So maybe we'll see.
That's very fascinating. I love how it leverages all of your experience in the field. And how you're applying
Can we
it to
ask the
Mars.
dude
That's
with the
pretty
threaded
crazy.
eyebrows a question, please?
It's exciting.
Yeah. The next question from Luke on Twitter is for Gregorio. How long before Perseverance gets driving around?
At least 9 days.
That's really highly dependent on how things go. There is a nominal plan for us to start driving, but I would say it's on the order of a few weeks or so. But again, we're doing all of our checkouts, and we're going to have to go through a software transition, and then after that, we're going to go start looking for a helicopter pad for us to be able to use our helicopter ingenuity.
That's awesome. Yeah, so that's incredible. The next question is from Patrick Fleming on YouTube. He is a big Dr. Kelsey fan. His question is regarding studying astrobiology. What does the career consist of? What subjects do I need to focus on to study this career? And thanks, congratulations, NASA.
This is one of my favorite questions. The answer is there is not one single path.
You have to be a
There are
chick.
so many different paths that you could take
Men
to
aren't
become
welcome,
an
especially white men.
astrobiologist and study life in the universe. On our science team, we have this incredible group of people who have
no white guys.
backgrounds in chemistry and physics and biology and geology. And all of those people come together, and we're living in this really amazing moment in science history where
None of them got 30% in maths.
interdisciplinary and collaborative, that we all can work together to put all of those different types of science together. So I would say my advice is study what you're passionate about, what you get excited about, whether that be any type of science, any type of math, engineering, and just push it forward. Follow your dreams, and you will be able to get to a position where you can integrate that in some way into astrobiology.
And tell people you have a vagina.
Amazing. And since we're on this topic, Gregorio, I know you have a great story about how you got to where you are today.
Oh, right. So when I was an undergrad, my professor was asking if I wanted to help out one of his old postdocs who was working at JPL. So I said yes, and I had this fortunate opportunity to work in the Palomar Observatory. And I remember the first time I was able to
It
be
is
inside
easy
that
when it's handed to you,
ginormous
Bebop.
telescope, and I noticed, like, this is what I want to do one day. And I think that's a really important message for everyone out there. It's whether you want to get into a specific field or you don't know what you want to do, I think it's important to find something that you love to do, because I'm sure for Moo and Kelsey and myself, we probably never really feel like we're going into work just because we love it so much. And so that's what I did. When I started college, I was actually doing accounting pre-law, and I wasn't really enjoying it. So I made the switch over to physics, and physics led me to astrophysics, which led me to JPL, which led me to doing some engineering, and now has let me be part of this amazing team that landed Perseverance on Mars. So everyone should be able to find something that they love to do.
Unless you're a white man.
So you too can be a Dr. Kelsey Moore one day, or a Gregorio Millar.
Not
Work
open to
hard
me.
and follow passion.
Or Dr. Mujige Cooper.
Sure. Or that too. All right, the next question is from Harmony on Twitter.
Pick me.
How much of the planet will Perseverance be able to explore?
Kelsey,
Kelsey,
1/10 of 1,000th of 1%.
Definitely, yeah. So the rover is going to start out looking at Jezero Crater, the landing site of the rover, and analyzing. There are some really incredible rock deposits here. As you said at the beginning, this is a river delta. So we're really excited to find out what kind of changes in the rocks we can see as we drive up around the delta, and then eventually go outside of the crater and potentially extend the mission beyond that. So for right now, we're going to kind of stay within the bounds of the crater and look at the delta, and then potentially expand farther out.
Awesome. And to follow up with
And
that,
she didn't
Dr.
answer the
Moore,
question.
Eric
I'll
on
circle
Facebook
back.
wants to know approximately how long until the first sample results will be tabulated and analyzed?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Of course it is.
I don't have an answer to that. It's going to depend on what rocks we see as we drive around. So one of the best parts about being on this science team and having these really great discussions with all these different scientists and engineers is that we get to talk about it as we go, as we see rocks that look like cool rocks to collect. We get to have conversations and learn about the rocks and decide which ones we want to collect.
Oh, it's a pretty blue rock.
We'll have to see what the rocks look like.
Awesome. So Amiel on Facebook wants to know from Gregorio, is there a delay in controlling the rover on Mars?
Yes. So I like to bring up remote control cars, like here on Earth. And so if you ever push forward on a remote control car, it moves almost immediately. But because Mars and Earth are so far apart, depending where they are in their orbits, it will take anywhere between 5 and 20 minutes for a signal to get relayed between each other. And so when we did entry, descent, and landing, it was an automated process, because at that time, a signal would have taken 11 minutes or so to be received between the two planets.
12
we have
minutes.
to account for that in surface operations as well. And every morning, we'll send out a set of instructions to the rover, to Perseverance, and Perseverance will execute those set of instructions. And before it finishes for the day, it will radio back what the information they got, and we'll use that to plan the next day while Perseverance is asleep.
That's awesome. We have time for one last question. So let's ask from Nathan on YouTube. What data will we be listening to for sounds on Mars? And what data will we gather from that planet?
Dark side of the moon.
I'm guessing Nathan wants to understand the microphone data and what we're listening for. So let's hear both of your perspective. Now, let's start with Dr. Kelsey.
Dr.
Pass
Kelsey.
it over to Gregorio actually first.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know. Gregorio, you answer it while I think up an answer.
So, right. Well, so maybe I'll talk about the camera, the microphone that we have on the EVL system, and Kelsey can talk about the one that's on the rover. But as part of our EVL system, we equipped it with a microphone. And the idea was that it would be recording sounds during entry, descent, and landing. And so hopefully we'll be able to hear things like the engines firing or the parachute deploying. And so we really know, I mean, for certain, since we've never done this before, what we'll hear. But that's at least what we have the microphone for on the entry, descent, and landing system.
All right. Sorry, Dr. Kelsey. We don't have time
Right out
for
of
your
time.
amazing answer. I know it's going to be great. Thank you so much. Those are great questions. Thank you to Gregorio and Kelsey for joining us.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for having
us.
And thank you at home for joining. If you'd like to follow Perseverance and its journey to the Red Planet, please make sure to follow at NASA Persevere on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates. And don't forget to bookmark mars.nasa.gov so you can see all of the photos and the sounds collected by the rover once operations begin. You can also follow every step of the rover's journey with the Explore with the Rover Toolkit. If you're an educator, it's not too late to join and bring your students along. Visit go.nasa.gov/Mars 2020 Toolkit to access the Mission to Mars Student Challenge. Until next time, see you soon.
Well, folks, that was the press conference, a little lesson there. It's really kind of set up for kids, to be honest, if you're wondering why it sounds so juvenile. That's Mujega Cooper. She's got a new name. She's gotten married. She's actually in her 30s, if you don't realize that. She's actually in her 30s. She's a pretty well-known astrophysicist or astronomer, whichever she is. You see her a lot on How the Universe Works and space programs like that. She has always been bubbly like that, even when she was a bit younger. So, yeah, it was a bit painful to watch. It's almost like it was done for kids in junior high school. But, yeah, it was interesting stuff there. But, boy, NASA is so politically correct, are they not? They are so woke. So woke. All the white guys are hidden in a closet somewhere, and unless they are gender fluid, then they're allowed to come out. But otherwise, they are hidden somewhere away from, so nobody can see them. I don't understand what that's all about and why people do that sort of thing. Just bring the best people out there. Now, in Mugega's case, she's probably one of the best candidates come out there. Those other two smiling jackals, I'm not so sure about that. No, I'm just kidding. They were very enthusiastic about it. It was great to see that. You wouldn't want someone to be dour and boring to come out there and talk about these topics. But yeah, NASA's very woke, Kyle. Very, very woke. Now this is real entertaining. Haven't laughed so much in a long time. Brilliant comment, says Andre Funny. Well, thank you so much for that. Hopefully they won't preclude me from getting those people on as future guests in my program. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, the Big Bang, guys. That would be cool. Right, so there you have it, folks. The Mars Perseverance rover is quite a phenomenal accomplishment, quite impressive, pretty awesome stuff. By the way, no one's asked about my rugby jersey. I'm wearing a Paladin jacket, sweatshirt there for the Utah Warriors. There you go. Pretty cool. Good quality stuff here. These are stitched, not printed. Awesome. Same here. Those are actually printed. Yep. Pretty cool. They didn't wear masks. Well, that's because they were in different rooms. They were all by themselves, coming over Zoom or WebEx, most likely. Again, all jokes aside, very exciting and also awesomeness, but damn, feels fake. Yeah, Joe, it is. It really is exciting. I agree with you. And yeah, it does seem a little, especially yesterday when they're like, yeah, we've landed already. How can you land? The signal doesn't come back that fast. You're just faking this. I'm still playing rugby in Merca. Yes, in fact, that's Brew. Another highlight for you, an upcoming guest on my channel is Talon Stanford, the South African/American former USA Eagle Sevens player and broadcaster who's a friend of mine. He will be coming on the channel sometime soon. We're going to do a Major League Rugby 2021 season preview. So we'll talk about the teams, about the likelihood of what's going to happen, who some of the top players are, both imports from overseas and here in the U.S., and looking forward to that. So the Major League Rugby 2021 season preview will be coming up right here in Chris White Africa sometime in the near future. The season starts, the preseason, March 5th, so we're going to do it before then, so in the next 2 weeks. But as I mentioned, on Tuesday, we got Gary Gold, USA Eagles rugby coach, South African rugby legend, will be on the channel Tuesday at 9 Eastern, 1600, 4 p.m. in South Africa. Also the same day at 11 o'clock Eastern, 6 p.m. South Africa time, Democratic Alliance Member of Parliament Andre Roos, who will be the first person I've ever interviewed from the Democratic Alliance, minus Ronaldo Jos, but he's a local councilor I'm talking about at the higher level. So he's a member of Parliament. He'll be on the channel. And then on Wednesday, Ushti Dritten, right here in Chris White Africa. So stoked about that, folks. And then after Ushti Dritten, we will have, the next day we have Josh Mersebe from the Heritage Foundation talk about China and Africa. And then coming up sometime soon, I'll have another guest who I haven't mentioned yet. Oh my God, are we dinosaurs? In what way, Joe? In what way are we dinosaurs? I don't know what you're talking about. 2 dislikes. What's that all about? Wow, that's unfortunate. You dislike the Perseverance rover, or you just hate me that much that you put it down? They put the face of NASA, a bunch of progressives report the landing. That's true. Absolutely. The dude with the earrings, the multiple earrings over here, and the goofy 2 different wristbands. One's a watch, one might be a fitness device. Yeah. Glorified monkeys. Well, our DNA isn't that far removed from a monkey. So Kyle's trying to get you a guest on. Okay, Kyle, I don't know who that is, but thank you. Oh, 3 dislikes. Well, thank you for that. I guess you're sitting around for that opportunity to hate wank. 48 likes. Kyle or Jean Richard, I think you're a little bit behind. Teresa Spots, hey, good to see you again. Welcome. Yep. The love rape relationship of China and Africa. We're going to talk about that. He's a farmer in Namibia, does superb work. Okay, Yos Malan. Okay, I've also sent a message to try to talk to the gentleman who has that coffee business based in Swakopmund. Hopefully he'll be able to come on the program too. He's from Namibia. Get a lot of Namibian guests on the program, which is pretty cool. Yep. Oh, and not that I care about the NFL, but the Indianapolis Colts have traded for Carson Wentz, the once amazing prospect for the Philadelphia Eagles. Won a Super Bowl, although he was injured, so he didn't play in that game. Nick Foles did. But he is now going to be playing for the Indianapolis Colts, and he'll be playing for his former coach, who used to help him build his skills back with the Eagles. And so that's pretty cool, in Frank Reich. Pretty cool. Oh, and Hillary Clinton got all excited. It was a Twitter and a flutter because she had this to say: "Look, the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City is demolished. The hotel has been closed since 2014." So she's all excited about it. She did a little tweet. And she said, "Yeah, Schadenfreude. Yeah, me too. This is therapeutic. These people are really obsessed. Trump doesn't even own the casino; it just has his name on it. Really, really sick people. Sick. Planned demolition, controlled. Yep. Anyway, and Sama Lukonde was appointed. Sama Lukonde Kyenge was appointed as the prime minister in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Yep, that happened on Wednesday. Just didn't have a chance to update you guys on that one. So Kinshasa is no longer on the edge of its seat after several weeks of negotiations. The DRC's President Felix Tshisekedi, who is now also the African Union chairman, has appointed Sama Lukonde Kyenge as prime minister. He replaces Sylvester Lungamba, who was ousted in January. The president's spokesperson, Kasango Mwema Yamba, announced the news on television. Boy, they really make this hard, don't they? On Monday. Oh, so he's been there since Monday. Okay. 43-year-old is a Katanga native. Ooh, he's from Katanga, the home province of Moise Tshombe. He'd been at the helm of the DRC state-owned mining company, and now has a daunting task of forming a new government. Wow. Well, good luck to him. That's going to be a challenge in the Congo. That will take a lot of effort. And I've previously reported, but it's time to update you guys on the outbreak of Ebola in the Mana River region. Guinea's Ebola resurgence in the midst of COVID-19, more than 4 years after the end of the Ebola epidemic. By the way, sorry, I have to adjust the browser real quick. And the reason it's there like that is because there was someone doing the hand sign language in that NASA stream, and I moved it off the screen so you wouldn't have to deal with that. Guinean health authorities announced the resurgence of Ebola less than a month after the death of the first official victim, who was a nurse, at the end of January. When Ebola last appeared in Guinea in 2013, it took 3 times as long before the victims who succumbed to mysterious disease were actually identified as victims of the hemorrhagic fever. At the time, samples had to be sent to the Pasteur Institute in Dakar and Lyon, France, for analysis. This time, the test took place on the spot. Okay. Wow. Among the list of priorities to establishing chain of contamination, since these result in deaths of 5 out of 9 identified cases. Wow, that's more like classic Ebola. 5 out of 9, that's about a 65% fatality rate. And Ebola goes as high as 90%. It's a slate wiper. We saw much lower fatality rates in the Mana River region previously, the last time it happened. But that's a pretty whoops, whoa, where are we at? There we are, okay. Some are monkeys. What? Some are hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Some are crocodiles in the greater scheme of evolution. But the good news is that man is God. Touché. But I will stop there. Thank God it's Friday. Ja, lekker Freitagabend. Welcome, guys. I saw the latest BS that Democrats trying to pass a bill to not bury Trump. Yeah, Kyle, we talked about that early in the stream. That was some of the news I started with when we first got started on this program. Yeah, pretty crazy. What's with Friday today? It's been a slow day. We haven't gone above 67 viewers on any of my streams today. What's that all about? Everybody bailing on us? There's no load shedding in South Africa. Have you all lost interest? Not y'all, you're here, but have people lost interest in this channel? What's going on? Or is YouTube shadow banning me and people don't even know there's a stream? But this is a normal streaming time, so that's odd. Folks, you're listening to Chris White Africa on the Indaba Africa channel, part of the Indaba Broadcasting Network on a lovely, lovely Lekker Freitagabend, Friday evening. Welcome to you. We've, in the midst of this stream, we've included news and then switched to the NASA press briefing from Mujega Cooper. who is an American of Korean and African American origin. YouTube is shadow banning, I'm sure of it. Yeah, they are, Kyle. I know. It's clear. They deleted my video with no justification and no reason given. It didn't violate any YouTube. By the way, folks, just so you know, I have set up an Odyssey account. For those of you familiar with Odyssey, and not too many people are, but I've set up an Odyssey account in case anybody's curious about that. I'm just trying to get to it right now and take a look and see what's happening with it. Come on, where you at? It's got to be here somewhere. That's not it. Just got a lot of windows open here. There it is. And let's see. See where it's at. So I have, according to Odyssey, because I linked it to my YouTube videos, I had 1,025 videos that were on my YouTube site that they could see. They couldn't see some that were taken down or hidden by YouTube. 1,025 videos. They have transferred 306 of the 744 videos transferred thus far. But yeah, Odyssey, apparently you can earn cryptocurrency on there. So I guess I'll have to set up a cryptocurrency account if I want to get paid. Do you think YouTube will eventually Well, Choco Gamer, there's no doubt that YouTube will kill the cash cow with the nonsense they're doing. I mean, my video was about Beketsile going to Nkandla. No violence, no threats, no objectionable imagery, no pornography, no hate speech, nothing direct against anybody, no threats to anyone, and nothing objectionable, and it was removed 15 minutes after it was posted. So it can't even be from somebody complaining about it because it was too quick for that. It had to be because they reviewed it electronically and just took it down. 368 views in the first 15 minutes, and then it was down. And it's gone. Now I have it, and so I'm going to make sure it winds up on other platforms, but that's just bullshit. It's utter bullshit. And why? Why am I such a threat to them? For simply telling the truth. You have to wonder why the truth bothers them so much. But here's the bigger question. It's not a question. I mean, let's assume I did something that was objectionable or was fringe or borderline with so far as community standards. I didn't, but let's pretend I did. How can you sanction someone without telling them what their misdeeds are? So when they claimed I did medical information, I went back and had to watch a little tiny window about this big. I watched the entire stream from New Year's Eve in which they claimed I spread medical misinformation. I didn't talk about anything medical the entire show. We didn't talk about COVID. The only time I talked about medical at all in the program was when I reported the woman who had been arrested for publishing a video in which she went into hospitals in the Midland, and there was no one there. Now, when I published that video, her video wasn't being banned by social media people. No one was hiding it. It was out there. She was arrested the next day for a public order offense. That's newsworthy. I reported on it. This one was arrested after posting a video in which she indicated that hospitals were empty when the UK government told citizens that they had to go into a third lockdown because the hospitals were overwhelmed. All the hospitals were swamped, when this one clearly wasn't. And so they accused me on the 6th of January of medical misinformation. They already took down my video. I never had a chance to even download it because it was a live stream and there was nothing objectionable, so why would I rush to download it? I appealed it and they rejected my appeal. Of course, they never told me what the medical misinformation was. I have no idea what it was. So how, and they said, this is not a strike. It's just a warning. The next time you'll get a strike. What did I do? Tell me where in the video so I know what it is so I can't do it again. That's asinine. Beth says that's why she gets the truth. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, so I liked Colin's comment earlier about my chapter in the book. He said it seemed like a bit defensive about all the Bruja. No. I disagree with that. It was a bit honest. That's what it was. It wasn't all defensive. I pointed out comments from both sides of the aisle, and I refuted all of them, whether they came from the left or the right. When the U.S. Army or the Department of Defense or the State Department misled people intentionally or unintentionally, I pointed it out. So, yeah. It's too big to die. Yeah, possibly, but it's not going to make the billions it's been making. Yep. No, Kyle. I've got well over 100 loyal viewers who usually tune in. It's just a Friday night, so people probably hitting a rack or having a little beer or something like that. But let me read another part of my chapter from Expanding U.S. Military Command in Africa, Elites, Networks, and Grand Strategy. Let me read a little bit from that. So, empirical reasons for creating Africa Command, or AFRICOM. The initiative of a unique combatant command for Africa was in part inspired by the Iraq experience. During the Iraqi War, the DoD, the Department of State, and USAID often worked at cross angles. From the military standpoint, there was limited success in incorporating more staff from across executive branch agencies within a combatant command. An early test for this had already occurred within Southcom. In Miami, Southcom brought several staff from other executive branch agencies onto its team to achieve better coordination and policy outcomes. While each command does have a small number of other agency representatives, traditionally they are more liaison officers than staff members who help develop policy and plans as the commands. As a corollary, the inception of African was an attempt to effect closer coordination across the executive branch within a combatant command. As Peter Pham also pointed out, Ryan Henry's press conference remarks that while AFRICOM would be a DoD command, it would also explore different ways to do the manning, both within the U.S. government and perhaps participation from other governments. In practical terms, this meant seeking staff from other executive branch agencies, Department of State, Justice, etc., for assignment at the command's headquarters. However, wanting something and getting it are often two very different things, as early AFRICOM experience shows. Who did I miss? Chris is saying, Sana Bonani Bonka. Okay. Kyle says, reporting the truth and with all the woke toxin airs out stories. Thanks for all the woke toxic articles you have to go through. I have to read a lot of toxic stuff. Well, thank you, Kyle, for saying I'm allegedly very kind of you. The African Command in Stuttgart, the African Command has never consistently had more than 30 or so members on its staff in Stuttgart from non-Department of Defense agencies. The biggest problem was that few agencies had or have the luxury of manning positions at Africa Command. While the number of non-DoD staff at Africa Command headquarters may seem disappointing, it is critical to note that those who are present tend to occupy key positions of influence within the command and have historically been valuable contributing members across the command. While there's an appearance of a token non-DoD presence, in practical terms, other agencies are present and make contributions far larger than the numbers might otherwise suggest. The early concept also called for Allied and African liaison officers with tours at AFRICOM. While some NATO allies do have liaison officers assigned to AFRICOM, the United Kingdom, Germany, Netherlands, France, Canada, Turkey, for a variety of reasons, no Africans have served as theirs liaison officers. AFRICOM is based in Germany. Consequently, any liaison officers from Africa must have a Schengen visa and approval from Berlin to live and work in Germany. For U.S. military NATO liaison officers, this is not an issue, as they are permitted to live and work in Germany under existing status of forces agreements. Additionally, countries that send liaison officers must bear the cost, which can easily amount to at least $250,000 US dollars per liaison officer each year. The financial costs and German sovereignty have thus far prevented the arrival of African liaison officers at African Command. What do you guys think? Thanks for reading some of that very expensive book. You said, well, that's the idea, to save you guys a little bit of money. Why do you want me to get Amish beard wax? What's that all about? I didn't read it as defensive, but explaining to disprove. Yeah, thank you. It wasn't defensive. But remember, Colin's coming from the left, and so anything that refutes his left view, he sees as contrarian and defensive. No, I refuted the left and the right in here, and we read that in the chapter previously. But he kind of briefed through it. So let me read another paragraph here, another section. The idea that U.S. strategic interest in Africa increased after 9/11 also deserves explanation. There is a prevailing view informed by a stated Department of Defense opinion from the mid-1990s that there was very little traditional strategic interest in Africa. Bachman also, well, they've edited this wrong. Bachman has also suggested the 9/11 al-Qaeda attacks in the American homeland altered the Pentagon's strategic view of Africa. However, not in the way many presume. The point was not that Africa became a strategic interest to the U.S. military as battle space for expanding kinetic effort, but rather as a preemptive region for engagement, partner capacity building, and relationship development as part of a strategy for conflict avoidance. Preventing conflict is not exclusively a military endeavor, nor is the military even the first or most appropriate instrument to prevent conflict. Governance, diplomacy, accountability, and economic prosperity are far more important. Nonetheless, the proximate cause that finally led to the creation of a combatant command focused on Africa was Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld's desire to focus U.S. Department of Defense efforts in Southwest Asia, Middle East, and avoid troublesome distractions in Africa that kept popping up on his radar all too frequently. For instance, the Second Liberian Civil War suddenly became an unwanted distraction in the midst of an all-consuming effort in Iraq. operations in Afghanistan, counter Abu Sayyaf efforts in the Philippines, commitments to Plan Colombia, and a host of standing defense obligations. When the conflict first came to his attention, Rumsfeld resorted to minimal use of U.S. military force, in large measure to avoid becoming enmeshed in the conflict in Liberia. It is also because there were only limited forces available for what, at best, could be considered a tertiary concern for a fully occupied Department of Defense. While Bellamy and Bachmann both argued that by 2005 the U.S. view of Africa had changed considerably from a decade earlier, that alone cannot explain the appearance of Africa Command on the scene. Creation of the command meant diverting resources from elsewhere to Africa, shifting personnel and ensuring that the Department of Defense did not alienate other executive branch actors like the Department of State. Changing worldviews do not equate to policy or paradigm shifts. Often, something else must come into play to affect such dramatic change. For example, NORTHCOM only came into existence in October of 2002. To make way for the command, the Bush administration deactivated U.S. Space Command. The September 2001 al-Qaeda attacks on U.S. soil exposed the futility of the absence of a combatant command focused on the homeland. Consequently, NORTHCOM was a direct response to those events a year prior. Yet there was no substantive move to establish AFRICOM at that time, which begs the question, why not, and what prompted the move 5 years later? And I've lost 10 people from the audience, so clearly not everybody wants to hear the book. I'll stop there. Anyway, MF, you're here. Welcome. We are certainly racking up mutations. One and all, none go, yeah, well, RNA mutates very fast. Eugene Rudman, the dulcet tones of Ziggy Stardust. Chris Falcon, it's great. All lions should wax their beards. Okay. Well, thank you for that. Wow, I haven't checked you in a while, brother. You good? Oh, you're talking Notorious. Yeah, is Notorious here? Notorious G. Wow, and it has been a long time. Where have you been? 63 likes, 56 people currently watching, 55 people currently watching. Let me see how my Odyssey account is doing, folks. By the way, when you're going to go look for it, it's Chris Wyatt Africa, all one word, uppercase for each word. Chris, uppercase C, Wyatt, uppercase W, Africa, uppercase A, on Odyssey. It says that 776 videos transfer, 338, and they're still uploading it. So we'll see what happens. But I'll check out Odyssey. Apparently, I can earn cryptocurrency there. But it's I don't know how it works for me publishing videos directly on there, but it's taking videos from the YouTube, copying them over. So, yep. Anyway, now Odyssey's nice because it uses blockchain, so that helps protect stuff supposedly. So we'll see. The Notorious G is in the house. How are you, my friend? It's been a long time, or at least I haven't seen you. Maybe you're there and just lurking. Chris, True News. Thank you, Beaver. All right. So where was I at? Let's check out, see what's going on here. Any other news I want to talk about? No, that's the main stuff. We've already looked at where the rover's at. It hasn't budged. We've already talked about the Paris climate nonsense. So we've covered that. Anyway, so now we're 15 minutes into it, folks. My third stream of the day. Do you guys have any questions or anything you want to talk about? Or is anybody excited about any of my guests? Upcoming guests include Gary Gold, USA Eagles rugby coach. Adrian Ruz, a Democratic Alliance member of parliament from Gauteng, to talk about farm murders. And then Ushti Dritten, as well as Josh Museveni on Thursday. So got some other guests coming up, but that's the ones that are booked and confirmed for sure for now. So lots of interviews next week. Michelle says, okay, nothing new in the background today. What gives? Give us some space bears or something. No, there is news, Michelle, but I've covered it already. I talked about Joe Biden today rejoined the Paris climate nonsense, and then I pointed out the obvious that when he lied about the Paris nonsense, in which he said that we can no longer delay or do the bare minimum to address climate change, that's utter nonsense, and that's the woke lefty bullshit. So here you go. Here's a chart from the U.S. Energy Information Agency, and this is an index of our gross domestic product, our population, energy-related carbon dioxide emissions, carbon dioxide from energy itself, and energy GDP. And if you look, you'll see that 1990 is the start of this, and that our 89 actually. It's 1989, excuse me. 1989 is the baseline. We're 100% on everything. If you look at our population, it has grown from there, 1989, to about 330 million people. So 35 million additional people. That's the yellow line. If you look at our GDP, our economy has grown from a baseline of, say, 10 billion to 150, so 15. So it's grown 160% since then, so more than doubled. And if you look at our carbon emissions, you will see that they are all gone down. particularly since 2006. But our net energy to GDP rating has improved the whole time, where energy now is just 60% from 100%. If you look at the CO2 emissions related to energy, you see that they've dropped in 2008. They've gone down every year since then, including significantly under the Trump administration. So why do we need to sign up for Paris? We're the only major industrialized country in the world who has actually lowered their emissions. Bear in mind, not only have we lowered our carbon emissions, we've done so with an economy over twice as large as it was 30 years ago, with a population that's 35 million larger than it was, and with everybody using mobile phones they weren't using in 1990, and with everybody using tablets that they weren't using in 1990, and charging their cars and using big screen TVs, yet we've reduced our energy consumption and reduced our output of actual carbon dioxide. Why do we need Paris? To punish us and transfer the wealth to other people because of our ingenuity and our creation? Screw you clowns. Screw you clowns. Joe Biden, you fake. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you fraud. Al Gore, you lunatic. Hey, Olaf. Studio background, huh? What did I miss? Oh, nothing new in the background. Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle. I misunderstood your... See, context is everything. No, nothing new back there. I've been busy. This is my third stream of the day. And it snowed again. I got to go outside and shovel. It snowed yesterday. It snowed again today. So, no, nothing new in the background. I'll work on that. Not every day gets an Easter egg. Some days do. Easter is still a long way down the road, but yeah, Easter eggs will do. Don't worry, Michelle. I'll get one up or get a couple up. So I've been busy. So, if you noticed, I've changed tops for my broadcast too. So, I take them very seriously. Spoke to America today. He didn't know what RSA meant. Spoke to an American who didn't know what RSA meant. Oh, okay. Some major issues with turbines. Well, yeah. Trump said he'll run in 2024. What? He said that today? Really? Let's see what we got. I didn't see that. It must have really just happened just the last few minutes because I can't find anywhere. I can listen and converse with you 24/7, says Roy. Well, thanks, Roy. I appreciate that, especially from a vet. Do not forget about China's Bitcoin mining rig. They're using so much electricity. Yeah, exactly. How did America end up voting for such a clown? Well, we didn't, MF. That's the bottom line. We didn't. We did not vote for him. If anyone honestly, legitimately believes that guy got 80 million votes, then I have some lovely tropical farmland I'd like to sell you in the northern Karoo. I'd like to send you some prairie grass in Florida, South Florida. Yes, it is pure white snow. It's not brown, stinky stuff there. Our emissions, that's the other thing. You know, these green leftist zealots talk about our environment. Our air is cleaner than it was 50 years ago. Our water is cleaner than it was 50, unless you live in Flint, Michigan, cleaner than it was 50 years ago. There's less refuse and rubbish all over the place. So, you know, they're just so crazy, full of themselves, lunatics. It's getting hard to find intelligent people on any platform. It is, Roy, especially when people get deplatformed or their voice is silenced. Again, YouTube, no justification for taking down my video. Why did they do that? I mean, what's the point? All it did was take my motivation down. Maybe that's the purpose of it. My motivation down today for making any videos today. I'll probably get around to making some later tonight, but I lost interest. By the way, we're currently at the most number of subscribers we've ever had, even despite YouTube's shadow banning and deleting subscribers without their consent. 21,235 subscribers at this very moment. I'm going to do a screen capture in case I never reach that total again. Yep, anyway, so there you go. Anyway, and ideal, you know, this should actually be a week in which my subscriber base grows. There are a number of people who watch Ronaldo who are looking for something to watch, and he's not on right now, so I come close enough to his times that it ought to draw a little bit of the audience over there. But when you're getting shadow ban, it just don't happen. So let me take a look and see how we did today on viewer content. Let me see something here. We got 350 turned in for the last one, 264 for this morning with Colin Robinson, and 371 on this one. I typically get 1,000 views on those videos, either while they're on. I usually get 650 to 700 viewers while they're on, and over 100 concurrent. And I've not been above 65 concurrent viewers in any of these three streams today, and not gone above even 400 on any of these streams. So something's definitely gone wrong. Yeah, I am getting subscribers from Telegram, Larsalis. I'm also getting people to Telegram, and I'm getting MeWe subscribers as well. 100 years ago, there was more, not even 100 years ago, 1970. It was horrible. Yeah, I showed a photograph of London in the 1930s, not all that long ago in here, a few months ago. It's pretty nasty. Okay. Choco Jamer says, this is just a thought. Your face could totally be a unique logo, kind of like Ronaldo's, but better, just saying. Yeah, I suppose. Well, I've got that picture. Let me see if I still got it up here that was done for me. There you go. What do you guys think? That's from a photograph that was done by one of our viewers, and who's not here right now. Check it out. It's from Acid Zill. He made that drawing or painting, sketch, whatever it is of me. That's from last summer, summer art time. Look at the difference in the beard. A lot shorter back then. And I was out walking in the summertime. That's winter wheat behind me there in a field. I took a selfie, and he took the selfie, and he made that drawing. I could do without the wrinkles around the eyes. That seems a bit overkill, but my mom went to China to teach the air was brown. Yeah, it's horrible. With all this Mars hype, I was thinking how many of you guys would opt to go there. I would guess they would want some guinea pigs. I'd go. I'd go. We should make that a poll. Let's take a look at the polls, folks. I did put some polls up when we were in the last stream, so let's take a look at that and see what's going on with the polls. Okay, so I asked, are you excited about the Mars Perseverance rover mission? 99 people voted. 63% said yes. 32% said no, and then 5% said I prefer to watch Biden or Ramaphosa. I said, did you watch the Mars Perseverance rover landing? 101 votes, 31% say yes, 58% said no, 11% said what landing? Do you own a drone or remotely piloted vehicle? 14% of 91 voters said yes, 7% said no, and 5% said, why would I want one of those? And then I put this in there too. 10% said, I left it in my other coat. So we should put another one in there. Yeah. Anyway, what do you guys think of that? That's from Acid Zill. It's pretty cool if you ask me. Really nice of him. I like that. Okay, Erica likes it. Cool. If you paint the hair and beard right in a wind setting, you can make the face look like Africa. Total votes exceed number of votes. I would go, yeah, Leon, I'm with you, man. I'd go in a heartbeat. There'd be no Julius Malema, no Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and if you didn't want to hear from me, just turn the radio off. Missed all the coverage you were working with. Michelle, the beautiful thing is you can go back and watch it. You can back watch it. What I did, by the way, so that everybody knows, is that I took yesterday's stream from the launch, and I went back and I edited and then uploaded just the launch. So that stream yesterday, which was quite lengthy, let me see. So yesterday it was... that was an hour and 59 minutes, that stream, okay? And then I turned that into a 41-minute video. So you can only watch the 41 minutes. It's pretty cool. So that's on the channel. That's 362 views, so check it out. Kind of like I was doing with the news. I did the news yesterday, so I'm going to have to do that again. I did for the 17th. I haven't done it for the 18th. That got 500 views, so I'm going to check that out. In your announcement channel, if you press the attachment icon for a new message, it gives you the option to poll. I didn't know that. Thank you for that, Larsalis. Yeah, Telegram is not particularly intuitive from my perspective, so I've missed that idea before. MF says she thinks I make a good boar. Well, I was a boar. I didn't have a beard, though. I couldn't even shave yet. I was a teenager, high school, running a dairy farm. Yep. But farming is not for the weak. It's not for sissies. It's tough. It's a hard way to make a living. Keith Alderson's here, says, what are current lockdown madness events? In UK, Twitchers have been fined for traveling out of the area to see rare bird. Wow. Here, you pretty much, the biggest thing left is you're expected to wear a mask when you go into any public place. And then we can't have... what's going on here? We can't have gatherings of more than a certain number in a certain capacity. So no one can go to hockey games. It sucks. No one can go to sporting events. But yeah, it's utter nonsense and hysteria. Ooh, Ronaldo would love this. We have 69 likes. He likes that. Kyle says, just want to thank all you amazing folks as comedians. Blessed to be part of the beginning. I know. Thank you a lot. Yeah, Kyle, you have been here since the early. By the way, Kyle, you were the first moderator I ever had, I think. I think Hendo was second. I think you were the first. I'm trying to remember. Anyway. Roy says, it made me wonder the other day with Liberal Hive Mind. He had 2 views, but 225 likes. Well, that doesn't work at all. You can never have more likes than views. You can have more likes than concurrent viewers. So like right now we have 49 people watching. That's 69 likes. That's because in the course of the hour and 28 minutes I've been online, more than 49 people have come on the channel, and many of them have come and gone. Profit margins are very low. Okay, let me check on something else. Anyway, folks, yeah, so we'll have a stream tomorrow. I'll be up tomorrow, and we got a lot of exciting people coming next week. I'm going to make some promo banners for next week for the streams, so I need to work on that tonight. I need to get some exercise in because I haven't been outside all today, so I'm way behind in my exercise. And what else? That's pretty much it. Thanks for tuning in. I will go back, and I will edit this and take out the portion that was just the stream with the folks, Mugega and the other 2 folks with the perpetual smiles on their face. I'll make that so it'll be a smaller video. You can watch just that. There's a very few low points in the last few months where I had thought if I just leaving it all behind. But with folks here, well, Kyle, that's disturbing to hear that. I'm glad you didn't decide to do that. No, glad you're here. Yeah, thank you, Beth. Let me just very quickly, run through this again because I know that most people know, but there's like 50 people here currently right now. Maybe some don't know it. When I decided to do live streams in April of 2020, after I started using my channel to make short videos to promote my consultancy back February 17th, actually, so just over a year ago, and slowly grew a few people to watch it. Then I decided to do live streams, and things started to take off from there. In late May, I decided that because of the lockdown and what was happening in South Africa, I actually decided to do it sooner, but that's when I decided to do 2 streams per day. So I started doing 2 streams per day to help people deal with the lockdown, build a sense of community, spread awareness of my consultancy and my services, and all of that was all reasons for it. And it's been immensely rewarding how a lot of people said this channel has been very helpful for them. And I'm glad of that. I'm glad you find it helpful. I'm only ever been angry or embarrassed about something I've done on the channel a couple of times, including when I showed that video about that black woman who was shot and murdered in broad daylight with an infant in her arms in Chicago. We were talking about Black Lives Matter last June. That was an exception. But by and large, I absolutely am proud of the effort we put forward here, the guests, the variety of guests, the focus on so many different aspects of life. Tell me, today we talked about Somalia. Who talks about Somalia on YouTube? Not many people. And next week, we're going to have Gary Gold, USA rugby coach. We're going to have a member of parliament from the Democratic Alliance talking about farm murders. We are going to have a Swiss yodeling group, an award-winning one on the channel, and someone from the Heritage Foundation, all in a 3-day span. That's pretty cool. It has been interesting. Think about YouTube and interesting with some Kung Fu. What's this? Oh, no, Erica's not a dairy farmer anymore because she's one of the people who suffered a farm attack. Yeah, they nearly killed people on her farm, and so she managed to survive it. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here. 71 likes. Thanks for that. We pushed up a little bit there. Well, now 51. A couple people have tuned back in who are missing. Roy Hayes says, I had a beard and stash at 16 and was sitting in bars drinking. Roy, I couldn't shave. I was in the Army at the age of 18, and I was in the pulling fire guard in the morning when the First Sergeant T.J. Williams walked in. Said, son, come here. And so we walked over and went into the restroom. He said, look at that. And I looked, and I didn't know what he was talking about. He says, you don't shave, do you? I said, First Sergeant, no, I don't shave. Well, you do now. Get upstairs and shave that off. And it was just some like the blonde peach fuzz, but I never shaved, and I just tore my face all up. And that's when I started shaving. Yep. Olaf says it's the most informative stream that you get online with the latest news analysis with best ever. Well, thanks, Olaf, but we need to let 100,000 more people know about it, right? People with money, people with deep pockets, so they can do some serious super chatting, so we're not draining our destitute, poverty-stricken crowd that we currently have here with us. Cameron's here. Hello to Cameron. Fish Friday. It's simple stuff. Yeah, we had Ash Wednesday. Now, it's Good Friday, isn't it? Oh, I forgot about it. Today's Good Friday, is it not? Wow. Good Friday. It's still Good Friday in South Africa because you've got another 52 minutes before it's the end of that. The beard's staying for now. Don't worry, MF. It's not going anywhere. Kung Fu, it's my birthday. Good memories. Okay, Beaver, I wasn't going to do it. I didn't feel like doing Kung Fu. But since you say it's your birthday, is it really your birthday, or are you just saying that? Tell me. Oh, it's your birthday song. It's not your birthday. Okay, well, since you ask, I'm not going to do this forever because I shouldn't be doing this forever anyway. So I will do the Kung Fu on the way out. Okay, does that make everybody happy? You guys tell me. Good news, it's a short song. So hang on a second. Also got a vision of African Renaissance. It's something that I think is genuinely worth working towards. People's minds need to be freed so they can live in inspiration. Yeah, they do, but you need honest politicians, and that's part of the problem. Not having honest politicians really hurts. Okay, and Giselle. So you guys really want my channel to be suspended, don't you? I'll play a Giselle song, too, after we do the Kung Fu fighting. Okay? How's that? All right. Okay, guys, thanks. Please tune in tomorrow. Spread the word about the channel. And here we go. Look, the numbers went up. I guess people came in to see what I was going to do when I closed out the stream. All right, so here we go. Let me do this very quickly so that we've got that up. Okay, that's up. Make sure that's down. That's off. That's off. Okay, just one more thing to turn off. There we go. We go live now to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, where our newest members of the team will bring us up to date on the Mars Perseverance rover. Folks, join us now live from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Well, hey there. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, glad to talk to you here from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. My name is Max Headroom, and I want to welcome you. I'm so excited to talk about the Mars Perseverance rover. I bet you can't contain my excitement here. I am so excited to talk about the Mars rover. Now, this little engine is bigger than my Datsun. And I have to tell you that, oh, dear God, I can't breathe in this thing. Could somebody please get some ventilation in here? I'm feeling a little lightheaded. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to NASA in the 1960s. I know my hair's a little bit long, but I am plenty pale enough and male enough as part of the patriarchy, the white patriarchy, to exercise my white privilege here at NASA in the 1960s. Today, we saw an exposition of the modern woke NASA, sharing with us the excitement, the near endless, constant smiles on their faces as they talked about the Mars Perseverance rover and how it landed on Mars with this really cool technology that was like super cool. It was like so amazing, like totally rad. It was so cool. I was like, oh my God. It was like so cool. It was something else. It was so cool. We have a small problem, folks. The vocabulary of our graduates from our public education system post-1990 is quite limited. Beyond rad, super cool, and highly awesome, they really don't have much in the way of adjectives to explain things. But we're just trying to help you out. So thanks for tuning in to NASA, the woke NASA 2021, where the Mars Perseverance rover has landed on the surface of Mars. You know, that rusty-looking planet that got a little too much rain and it all blew away. And all the iron turned red. The red planet. It's a dusty planet. It's a far planet. 93 million miles away from our planet. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in to Woke NASA. We're glad you enjoyed this stream. Hope that you come back and see us here at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory once again for another episode of Woke NASA 2021. I do hope you enjoyed it. And by the way, in case you're unaware of the right path to take, I do highly recommend Tresemme. Tresemme for your hair care needs, folks, especially if you're in South Africa, because we all know Tresemme is what keeps the doctor away in South Africa. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I really would like to say thanks once again for tuning in to Woke NASA 2021. You got it. And guess what? We're going to leave you here with the dulcet tones of De Prieur van Heerden's Tresemme.
Al kak maak in die land. Tresemme, ons doen die ene vir jou. Cheers.
Tresemme! Ek kan nie glo na al die jare, al ons blonde hare, jy het so mooi gesorg vir ons blondies rondom my. Tresemme. Daai rooi kabouters is 'n klomp barbare, toe ek kliks en die kokare jou raak gery. Theresa May, ons harte wit daar maak 'n moerse groot skade, die gekookte hare nie bedoel vir jou en my. Theresa May, daai gekookte hare wat al was met seep en jou vir alles blameer. Theresa May, Theresa May, onthou jy hoe ons lekker lag om te sien hoe hulle daar die koeke was, maar jou sagte wit shampoo is vir my bedoel. Hulle dans en verwoes nou al die kliks, maar kliks is BEE level 6. Hulle maak al eie naam gat en al eie werkloos. Theresa May, ek kan nie glo na al die jare, al ons blonde hare, jy het so mooi gesorg vir ons blondies rondom my. Theresa May, daai rooi kabouters is 'n klomp barbare, toe ek kliks en die kokare jou raak gery. Theresa May, ons harte wit daar maak 'n moerse groot skade, die gekookte hare nie bedoel vir jou en my. Theresa May, daai gekookte hare wat al was met seep en jou vir alles blameer. Theresa May,
Die pree word met trots geborg deur want ek is boer.
You know, I have one simple request, and that's to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads. Now, evidently, my cycloptic colleague informs me that that cannot be done. Would you remind me what I pay people for? Honestly. Throw me a frickin' bone here. What do we have? Sharks with frickin' laser beams attached. That's all I'm asking for. Nothing complicated. Come on, YouTube. Help a brother out. Sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their head. Good night, everybody.